Greetings, guys, gals, non-binary pals, and welcome back.
There's something about that intro that she does for every single video that makes me think, hey, this young lady with underarm hair, she's got a life together. She knows what she's talking about. I'm going to sit down and listen to absolutely everything that she's got to say. I'm being facetious, of course. I'm not going to listen to anything that she has to say. We're going to sit here, watch this video, and enjoy it as a family for once.
It was brought to my attention the other day that Isaac Butterfield has made a video about me. Which explains a lot because I got a massive surge of men in my comments just saying stuff. And I was like, where did you all come from?
Yuck. Men in your comment section, are you okay? Are you okay? Because I know when I see men in my comment section, I just want to cry. I just want to cry. I did make a video on this lady. Her name is the Queer Kiwi, and I criticised her on some of her opinions because you know what happens when you put internet content out there, particularly when your opinions are terrible, people are going to critique them. And that's what I do. I like to find things on the internet that are just ridiculous, that we can all sit down and go, at least I'm not as insane as that person. But I'm sure some people harassed her in the comment section that came from my video. Don't do that. It just makes me look like a bad person. So don't do that. Be a pain in the ass in your own time. Anyway, let's have a look at what she thinks about my video on her. Before we do that, this video is brought to you by the greatest sweatshop of all time. What am I talking about? My merch store. Ladies and gentlemen, 52 shirts for 50 bucks. Go and check it out right now at isaacbutterfield.shop. And for my people in America, I'm currently working on sorting out merch over there as well, so you don't have to pay fucking 300 bucks shipping, all right? Stay with me on that one. We'll sort it out.
The video is titled, "This Angry Lesbian Feminist Really Hates Men."
I'm sorry, okay? This is YouTube. You have to put in ridiculous titles, otherwise people won't click on it. Because if I say what that actual video was about, here are my opinions as a man reacting to a lady who happens to be a feminist with underarm hair, and multicolored shit and queerness. People aren't going to click on it. So you got to go the whole 9 yards. You got to go angry feminist who wants to see men in the ring with her so she can fucking wrestle them. You got to really get people's attention. That's what you got to do. But if you do watch her content, which I do for video purposes only, and just to punish myself, I like to punish myself. I get on the treadmill and I watch a video just to have the worst time of my life. If you watch them, you do realize that maybe she does not like men very much.
This isn't the first video he's made about me. I made a video about him about a year ago, and then he responded. I didn't watch that. I meant to, but I never did. Where he also called me a lesbian in the title.
Firstly, nothing wrong with being a lesbian. I think lesbians are wonderful people. I actually have a lot in common with lesbians. Short haircuts, mustaches, and I love puss. My poor wife upstairs just heard me yell out, I love puss. Jesus. But yeah, lesbians are fine people. Look at the female soccer team in Australia recently. Everyone fell in love with them. And we all know this about female soccer players. For some reason, in between taking penalty shots, they just like eating vag. It's fucking weird. I don't know why are you all lesbians? Somebody take a cock, please. Also, your name's the Queer Kiwi. Why would I not think you're a lesbian? That's what you are, right? Is that not what you are?
So before we even get started on this, I need to clear the air here and say I am not a lesbian. I am queer. Do your research just a little bit. You obviously have never watched a video of mine because I talk regularly about my relationships with men and being attracted to all genders.
Okay, so you do have relationships with men. Some very manly men, I bet. Some real men. But you also have relationships with women. So you're not a lesbian, but you're also not queer, mate. You're bisexual, aren't you? Who cares, number one? If you want to suck dicks and eat puss, all the power to you, sister. But, why are you throwing around new words? Just fucking chill out.
So let's watch.
Ladies and gentlemen, she is back, the Queer Kiwi, and this time it's not very personal at all. It's more of a check-in, all right?
Okay, we're already off to a start where he showed a couple of my old TikToks, and I am absolutely begging. I am on my knees, begging people to stop using my TikToks when they're talking about me.
Why? You made them, and they're pretty fucking funny, mate.
My parents tried really hard to raise me gender neutral. They never checked what gender I was going to be because they didn't care, it didn't matter. So when I was very small and couldn't make my own decisions, they dressed me in a lot of orange. I wore a lot of orange, but I don't think I had anything pink or blue. My mom said that she got a lot of weird comments and people telling her off and questioning her while she was raising me and my sister, and I think she even lost some friends over it.
In what world, where I talk about your ridiculous opinions, would I not share that? This time last year, she made a video about little old me, and she wasn't very happy with me at all. Isaac Butterfield thinks he's clever and funny, sad face. Anyway, she's sort of right, I do find myself very funny, and I responded with my very own video, which I thought was marvellous, and that was about it. I won, she went back to, I don't know, dyeing her armpits.
You didn't win. I just couldn't be bothered watching the video. I just didn't feel like it.
No, I won. I am the winner.
I don't think it would work, but I'd love to be able to do it.
Could you do rainbow?
I did this once, 3 years ago, again. And I did it just because I had leftover bleach. And I was like, you know what could be fun? I'll dye my armpit hair.
The issue one takes, particularly me, isn't so much the colour of the underarm hair, it's the fact that you have it. And I know we live in a world where men can't have preferences about what they see and what they like in a woman and all that shit, but underarm hair is gross. It's fucking gross on ladies, all right? It's fucking repulsive. If you have it, you're gross, sorry. And you may say, hey, Butterfield, I'm not trying to look good for you. Okay, that's great too. I don't care. But if I, as a man, walked into a room with some type of large animal's feces on my head, you would look at me and go, yeah, I'm not into that. And even though I don't want to, procreate with you, you saying you're not into that is just your preference. And that's just what I'm saying, babe. Shave your pits. She has been uploading content and it's as marvellous as you'd imagine. Here's a video. Are the straights okay? Spoiler alert, they aren't. Conservative TikToks are a living nightmare. Sir, have you ever spoken to a woman? The nicest man on the internet. Aren't straight men meant to like women? ... And my personal favourite, bread is better than people. Asexual memes. Wow. I feel sorry for the LGBTQIA plus community because this is the content that they're dished up.
What are his videos called, all right? The angry lesbian feminist really hates men.
Great video.
Woke comedy is not funny.
Wonderful work.
Arrested for telling a joke.
That's a joke about an Asian American woman being cancelled by the entire country of Malaysia. You know that I make videos, like 3 or 4 videos a week, about things that are topical and happening in the world. That's why there's so many videos and so many different titles. I don't know what you're trying to get at here. I am incredible.
The truth about Pride Month.
That's a video about how large corporations have taken over the Pride Month just to make a profit. Something that I thought you'd probably care about, actually.
The death of BuzzFeed. You want to talk about my videos being like, I feel sorry for the queer community because this is what they do. You are just dishing up the straight version of what I'm dishing up, but yours is laced with bigotry.
Is it though? Is it though? I've watched your videos, right? You just basically sit there and talk about absolutely nothing. You review memes. You're like PewDiePie if he was at Mardi Gras. Mate, the difference between you and I is I put out 3 videos on this channel. I put out 2 videos on my channel with my wife, another podcast. I'm writing a book at the moment. That's nearly completed. I'm also writing a new hour of stand-up. We're not the same. We're not even close. We're not even in the same solar system, mate. The only thing we have in common is underarm hair. Here is the Kiwi lady of queerness reacting to what she labels conservative TikToks.
Cow achievement. Trans women can indeed lactate.
Is it really a conservative person's opinion that men cannot breastfeed?
It is a conservative opinion.
Is it because men, yeah, they can lactate. Some men, very rarely, can produce milk out of their nipple, but just because you can do something doesn't mean you should shove it in a baby's mouth. I think that's a great way to give your baby PTSD. I also don't think I'm a conservative. I'm not religious, I'm pro-abortion. For some people, I'm really pro-abortion. I think anyone who has the same political values as the queer Kiwi will always paint people who slightly disagree with them with the conservative brush. And I think that's a bit silly because then you just don't argue with people, or you don't want to have debates with people or talk to people or converse about different subjects. You just paint them with the brush of conservatism and then throw it out the window. I don't think that's helpful, and I don't think that's a very intelligent way to live. But anyway, what would I know? I'm just a crazy right-wing nutjob. But yeah, you go back to believing that men can breastfeed babies, because I'm insane.
Yeah, it is a conservative opinion. Yes.
Or is that just a logical thing to say because they can't?
But they can.
Great argument. Well done.
That's literally what I say. I need to get better at this because I literally pause every 10 seconds and I need to just like let them finish speaking. But like, yes, it is a conservative opinion.
That pride flag in the background, there's a circle on it. Why is there a circle on it? What is this circle? Let's have a look. Maybe it's for the body positivity community. Nice and circular and oh, here it is. Adding intersex representation to the pride flag, the recent inclusion of the intersex flag within the robo. How many inclusions and crossovers will you do? That's what I want to know. How quickly will this flag fill up where you have no more room to add anyone? That's what I want to know. I want to know how many more people will you include in your group? Because at this point, it's almost everyone, but people who look like me. And I want to be in on it. I want to be in on it. Let me in! There's too many flags, all right? Fuck off with your flags, is my point.
Biological males can lactate.
Yes, they can, but it's rare and it's gross. So don't do it.
You don't even have to be trans to be able to do that. You don't even have to be on hormones. There are cases of like cis men lactating.
Riddle me this. There are cases of female comedians being funny, but that doesn't mean that it's an exception to the rule, now does it?
It's literally science. She's saying that she can lactate. So then she can't, then biology says that she can. And if you say no, she can't, that is a conservative opinion.
Okay, I don't think you're going to change your opinion on this, but let me just say this. There's not one case in human history where a female has had a baby and she goes, you know what, I'm really tired, wouldn't mind a nap. Hey, Dad, can you feed the child through your breast? It's not a conservative opinion, it's not bigotry, it's factual. And as for trans people, yeah, they can breastfeed, trans men can breastfeed. Why? Because they're biological women. It doesn't take anything away from them or doesn't make them bad people. It just means that they're not biological men and men can't breastfeed. It's rare and also illegal in most countries. In Saudi Arabia, if you start lactating, you will be thrown off a bridge.
Something being legal/illegal and moral/immoral are not the same thing at all. It's gross because it's illegal in some countries. That means literally nothing.
That was obviously a joke, mate. You don't get thrown off a bridge anywhere for lactating. Jesus Christ. Fucking turn up your humour meter, Sheila. I wonder how she fell into this cult. Who knows?
My parents tried really hard to raise me gender neutral. They never checked what gender I was going to be because they didn't care. It didn't matter.
Oh, it was your mum and dad's fault.
What? My mom and dad were like, I don't want to raise you with gender roles. And so that made me join a cult.
Yes.
Yes.
My parents being like, hey, women can achieve things too. Hey, you're allowed to play with cars as a kid. Hey, you're allowed to express yourself freely. That made me grow up and become part of a cult.
That's not what they did. They raised you gender neutral. They said, no, you don't have a gender. You can pick it later. That's not the same as letting little girls play with cars, which you absolutely should do. If they show enjoyment in playing with something, let them fucking play with it, unless it's an electrical socket. Let them do whatever they want to do unless they're in, severe danger. Obviously. Who gives a shit if they play with It's the same with boys playing with dolls, unless they get to the age of like 35. That's a problem. But if you're a kid and you want to play with whatever, do it. Who cares? I will say this, queer Kiwi. I would like to have a conversation with you. I think you should come on and do a podcast. If you think I'm going to be like a piece of shit, check out my podcast with Vegan Booty. We disagree on a lot of things, but we had a good conversation. So you're very welcome to come on if you want to. If not, stay at home and keep growing your big dreadlocks under your arm and being powerful, hey?
Did it? Or were you raised in a way where gender roles were forced on you and you had to live your life a certain way in order to fit into societal boxes? And now you view everyone outside of that as being in a cult, despite you being the one who is following what you were like told to do by society.
Gender roles are there whether you enforce them or not, all right? Naturally, we do different things as boys and girls. Sorry.
I'm Sam. I'm she, they, but you already know that.
I just don't think this is helpful. Gender dysphoria is a legitimate medical condition, but we are seeing the rise of it throughout the Western world. Nowhere else, just throughout the Western world.
I think that the reason it's happening more in the West is because, yes, there's education around it and like there's more acceptance about it. Like you said before, in some parts of the world, you will be severely punished for this.
I was actually talking about lactating men. But alas, the issue here is we're talking about indoctrination. A certain percentage of children have always had to deal with gender dysphoria. They're confused, they don't know what type of gender they are, they don't know, right? They think they might be a boy, they think they might be a girl. It's always happened, but the rise, the incident rate in this occurring is unbelievable. If this was a disease that hurt people, which you could argue maybe it does, some, if they get on hormones early enough, the rise in it is pretty scary. According to a new study about youth gender dysphoria, there are more teens than ever claiming that their biological sex does not meet their gender identity and that they are coming to this conclusion earlier and earlier. Okay, so they studied 42 million people between the ages of 4 and 65, and then there was a total of 66,000 who had received a diagnosis of gender dysphoria. 80% of those were from the US. People assigned female at birth seek professional help at about age 11 on average, while those who are assigned male at birth get help around 13 years old, the study revealed. In 2017, the average age for a diagnosis of gender dysphoria was 31 and a half. By 2021, that age had dropped to 26.27. The researchers reported a significant increase in the people diagnosed between 2017 and 2021. For the longest time, this was middle-aged men. Well, not middle-aged, 30-year-old men. Fuck, I am not going to say that's middle-aged. I'm 30. 30-year-old men were experiencing gender dysphoria for the longest time, and they were the ones who were transitioning. But now the majority of people who are receiving this help are young, and I'm saying 10 years old, girls. What other dysphoria or condition does a flip like that? That's unheard of. But the incident rate goes up every single year. Here's another study of insurance claims by Komodo Health found that nearly 18,000 US minors began taking puberty blockers or hormones from 2017 to 2021, the number rising every single year. It is happening more and more and more. Here's another one. According to a study commissioned by the NHS, in England 10 years ago, there were just 250 referrals, 250, okay, to the gender study clinic, etc. Most of them were boys. Last year, there were more than 5,000. This all stems from indoctrination. Gender dysphoria occurs naturally, but not at these numbers and not increase at this rate unless something else is happening, unless there is some sort of outside stimulus making this happen. So you got to ask yourself, what is that stimulus? I would argue it starts when you teach babies they can be whatever fucking gender they want. Or when you say that a little girl who likes to play with trucks and she wants to grow up to be a firefighter needs puberty blockers. No, she doesn't. She's just having fun. There was a study conducted in the 80s, 90s, and the early 2000s. Young boys who believed that they were actually gender dysphoric. They were the other gender. Now, what happened, right? When they followed up with these young boys as they got older and became adults, most of them turned out to be gay men, and most of them no longer felt gender dysphoric. They grew out of it.
But here's where a problem comes in, and I don't know if they went into this in the study or anything. I haven't read the study.
Maybe you could read the study and then that might answer your fucking question, mate.
But if you keep in mind heteronormativity and how strongly that is enforced, if you are told that boys like girls and girls like boys, that's how it is, then boys who don't like girls and who find themselves liking boys are likely going to then transform that in their minds and be like, oh, so I must be a girl then because girls like boys.
No, you're a girl because you got a vagina. The fuck are you talking about? Do you really think that the heteronormative evil bigot society is making boys like girls and vice versa. Or maybe it's just because that's how we're programmed for procreation. Regardless, don't include puberty blockers. That's all I'm saying to kids. Once you turn 18, go fucking nuts or lop them off. Who cares?
Going on puberty blockers and hormones when you're 14, you stop taking them and your body just produces its natural hormones again. It's not it's not that difficult to comprehend.
That's not even slightly true. This affects people for the rest of their lives. You crazy lady. That manic panic is seeping into your brain. Your cerebellum is multicolored, and my God, ladies and gentlemen, can we tell? Puberty blockers block puberty. They affect the endocrine system. It fucks you up. One example, bone density, all right? Some trans youth have osteoporosis because they took puberty blockers. Now their bones are fucked. Then there's the brain. We don't know the long-term effects of these drugs on the brain. We haven't done the studies. Ethically, it's a bit of an issue, right? Anyway, let's move forward. For the next 7 or so minutes, the queer Kiwi talks about her clothes and what they mean to her. We are not the same. We are not the same.
There is no one way to be a woman. There is not a correct way to be a woman.
There's not. You could even have a massive cock and be a woman.
True. Yeah, you're right. Now you're getting it. We just acknowledge that women can be different sometimes. And that frightens you.
Yes, having a penis where there shouldn't be a penis does frighten me.
Why, though? And, like, also having a, like, what do you mean having a penis where you shouldn't have a penis? Like, it's not a shouldn't. It's just, like, some people do and some people don't.
If you were in a change room, getting changed, after a nice couple of laps, a swim, and you got changed, and I don't know how ladies do it, but in men's change rooms, everyone's nude, right? It's fucking hot. If a lady is getting changed next to you and she has the biggest dick of all time, I'm talking like that, like fucking this thing, getting changed next to you, wouldn't you feel a little bit uncomfortable? Ladies and gentlemen, we have caught up with the queer Kiwi and she's doing amazing things for queer women everywhere. Shout out and all the very best of luck.
Thank you for the best of luck and the shout out there at the end. I'm glad that you're still Australian and doing really well at reminding me of what an Australian man looks like.
I'm worried about those bruises on your arm. Is everything all right? They're not shit tats, are they? It looks like someone's grabbed your arm. That's got nothing to do with the video, just saying.
Australian men typically fucking suck.
Whoa, 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 whoa. That is racist. Queer Kiwi, I'm not challenging you to a debate. I'm not doing that type of shit. I would like to have a conversation with you though. I'd like to talk about some topics, talk about some issues. I think it could be really helpful. Ladies and gentlemen, be a good motherfucker. Peace in the Middle East. It stinks. And there are those fucking t-shirts, 2 for $50. Check them out. 17 children died making those shirts, so you better buy them. Be a good motherfucker. I already said that. Goodbye.